fun day.
That shows up in a big white Suburban.
Well, today I'm going to be working on the truck. In the past few videos I've made, you have probably been able to hear the power steering pump whining. And I'm going to take care of that today. I'm also going to make modifications to the power steering pump to increase the pressure and the volume which goes through the box. This will really come in handy with a modification I have coming up in the future. So probably my next video will be that modification. Hang out with me here and we'll change this power steering pump. All right, so to start this process, I stopped by Napa and I picked up a refurbished power steering pump. Here it is here. Covered in transmission fluid. Kind of like come out of a Chevy. I don't know why. All right, and one of the most important things is probably the right tool to pull that pulley off. So I went by O'Reilly's this morning and picked this up. I really don't like shopping at O'Reilly's. I usually go to Napa, but I didn't want to drive the 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back to get it. I was kind of pushed for time this morning, so I stopped by O'Reilly's and picked this up. All right, this works just like my my gear bearing puller. It's got a sleeve and a driver, and this is to install it. All right, I'm gonna get to work and start tearing the truck apart to get the old power steering pump out. I'm going to compare the valves in it to the valves in this one and just see the difference. All right, so I got all these parts here. I'll show you how I throw them together real quick. So you have this piece here that captures the end. Up here is I'm going to use the small end. So I'm going to go ahead and put it halfway on this. And back this all the way out like that. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, barely. May actually be easier for me to do it from underneath. Which one of these? Any good? So one thing you need to look at before you pull the pulley off is how far the shaft is, or how far the pulley is down the shaft. This one was level or even with the end of the shaft. All right. It is loose. Alright, so one thing I forgot to do was drain the fluid. I'll see if I got a pump to pump it out. Alright, so you need to pump all the fluid out. I got this this thing here. It should do a decent job. I'm just going to pump it back into this cheap power steering fluid I have. Alright, well, I'd say that's probably where that come from. It filled it up perfect. Alright, so I got the old pump. Out, and it was a pain in the butt. That's one of the most frustrating things I've done in a long time. It was daggum miserable to get it out. Alright, so I have to pull this stud out to put in the new box. And see what pressure relief valves are on the inside of it. And then, if I got the right size bit, I'm going to drill these orifices out. 5/32 is the largest orifice size that they sell. It's the highest flow pump they make. So, if neither one of these they're different. This one's smaller than the one that I took out. So, if neither one of those are 5/32, I'm going to drill it out. So let's get this here. Dang it! It's in there tight. All right. So when this comes out, it's kind of spring loaded, and with it being full of fluid on this old one, more than likely it is it's going to spring out. Sprung out pretty good. All right, there's your orifice. And you need a magnet or something to pull that out. Let me see here. I think I got one. If not, it's just as easy. Pull it out like that. That's just as easy. Spring comes out with it. All right, and there's your pressure relief valve. All right, so inside of this, so it's got a screen on it. Screen's not plugged up. There's no washer in between the nut. All right, so that's this one. Springs are both the same. All right, let me pull it out of the new one here. All right, that one had a little more spring to it. There's that one. Put back in there. All right. Well, those are both identical. So, these are not. I don't know if you can see that. My old one has a larger hole in it than the new one. But the new one has larger holes in the side. Just clean up this old one and reuse it. Or let me see if I got see. Alright, I think this is a 5/32. No, that's a 3/16. That's a little too big. Nine 64s. It's a little smaller. All right, won't go in the new one. Oh, but it will go in the old one. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the old one back in here. With the old valve, the pressure relief valve. And I'm just gonna drill the new one out. 2 9/32. I don't have a, or 9/64, so I don't have a 5/32 bit, which is a bummer. If I'm not happy with it, I can always pull it out of the vehicle with it in the vehicle and then drill it out. All right, I'm gonna put this in my drill press here and drill it out. Easy enough, wasn't it? All right, so I got that drilled out. I cleaned it with WD-40. Blew it through there, wiped it out. I don't see any chips in it anywhere. We're good. All right, now that takes care of some of the flow problem. You can move more. If you can move more fluid, means it'll turn it easier. All right, got it in the vise in some wood there. That way it don't mess it up. So this screen, I'm gonna pull the screen completely off, and there is a spring in there. There's a spring and a ball. And there's a couple ways to increase the pressure. You can you can pull the spring out and put a shim underneath it. I believe what people use is a number 4 machine washer to put in the bottom of that to space it up, but then you have to trim the stopper in the bottom of it. This here, I just want to spray this to make sure we got fluid going through it. Yep, it goes through it. And to kind of clean that screen out. It had some gunk on it already. I don't know what that was from. All right, got that. Over here. I don't know where my magnet is. Huh, where did my magnet go? Don't know. But I'm not worried about putting a washer underneath the spring and increasing the pressure. This one here, I had a gap. All right, I'll tighten it all the way up and I'll show you the difference between this one and the one I took out of the Suburban. So you see it bottomed out all the way just then. Really crank this thing down. Make sure it is in there as far as it'll go. Alright. Probably should put a little Loctite on it, but I didn't. Hopefully it'll be okay. If it backs out and I lose pressure, I know what to do. All right, can you see that? Let's pull this one back out. All right, can you see the difference there? There's a little bit of gap here, and there's no gap in this one. It's not much of a gap, but it's enough to increase the pressure. Like I said, if you wanted to go more pressure, you could put a machine washer in there, and then the stopper, you have to grind just a little bit off of that, and it'll all still work. So let's throw this back in here. Lube up that O-ring, make sure that seals in there. About that hard to loosen it up. All right. Let me swap this stud over and we'll go install this thing. All right, found my 18. Wow. Son of a gun, I just pinched the snot out of my finger. Wow. Well, that's gonna hurt. Being an idiot. Wow, that's in there. Wow. Pretty sure this is part of what holds the pump in the reservoir. Pretty much has to be, right? Don't see anything else. My goodness, I gotta quit using the box head. Whatever. Tight enough. Maybe. See if I can smack that in there a little bit. All right. I believe we're ready to go back in the truck. All right, it appears so. Let me pop this out. Put it in this one. I'll get the cap and put on this so I don't knock anything down in there. Actually, let me pull that. Well, never mind. It's not going to come back out. Oh well. Plugs out. All I got to do is. Oh no, the return line is a little different. Alright, so I got everything done to the pump. Studs put in it, the orifice drilled out, and the pressure relief valve cranked up. So I'll fight this thing and put it back in there. So the way those wires was run around the power steering pump, I'm not putting it back like that. I don't know why they run it through there. I guess so they didn't have to use some zip ties or something. But I'm not putting it back like that. And I will gladly put zip ties in. Guess one thing I do need to change this O-ring real quick. Let me run and grab it. It'll come with the new pump. Fold them. Clean the crud off of it. Just slap the new one on it. Right, I'll get a little power steering fluid or transmission fluid, whatever you use, and put on that O-ring to seal it up, or to make it slide in easier, to lube it up. Alright, got the pump in there, just tightening up the bolts now. After I get these bolts tight, I will put the pulley back on. I'll use that new tool I bought this morning and put it on there just like it came off. Tell you what, ratchet and wrenches, those things are really handy. You want it's about to get chilly out here. Alright, let me put a ratchet on them just to make sure they're tight. Alright, I'll go underneath and tighten that one up. Alright, so I think I got everything ready to put the pulley back on. I got the little bracket to keep the wires out of the pulley fastened up. I think it's ready to go. I'll be changing that out pretty soon. Oh, yeah, you can see me now. I'm going underneath. I'll be right here. Here, clean that up a little bit. I may have to take a screwdriver and stick that in or something. No, there it goes. There we go. Bolt slide in there. Alright, I got everything put together. You've seen me fixing some wires that has been not been run right since I did the solid axle swap. And you probably see me break a drill out, and I drilled a hole in my fan shroud. There's a pretty good lip on the back of that fan shroud, and I can see where it's been holding dirt and water. So I drilled a 1/2 inch hole to let all that run out. Alright, I'm going to get a jack, and I'm going to jack the front end up, get the tires off the ground, that way I can turn the wheel back and forth to lead the power steering pump. Alright, so I looked at the manufactured at GM's procedures for bleeding this line. Looks like with the power steering cooler, I have to turn it lock to lock without starting it 40 times minimum. Well, that's gonna wear me out. Alright, so I'm back at it. It's the next morning. Well, it's the next day. It's after church in the afternoon. And I got some help today. Last night I turned it back and forth probably close to 80 times. And of course I couldn't see if it had air in it or not. But Brody's here today, so I can see. I got the old pump box back up, send it back to Napa. It's been about 3 weeks since I bought that. Hopefully they still give me my core back, because that sucker was not cheap. So another reason for changing this pump out and then increasing the pressure in it was for a project I got coming up for a modification. Anybody want to take a guess what that modification is? You can leave it in the comments if you have an idea. Alright, so that project's done. I'm still having a little bit of problems. The noise is gone. It's not whining anymore. It definitely turns easy now, easier than it did. So I believe increasing that pressure helped out quite a bit. I'm still having a hard time turning to the left. Now, let's see if I can spin it and show you here. Alright, you see the steering wheel? Look, it turns right just fine. When I turn left, it gets pressure on it. And then it kind of slips, and then it gets pressure, slipped. But going right, it's no problem at all. I turn it left, and then now that it is, it's done it a couple times, it does it pretty easy now. I don't know what the problem is with it. All right, so yeah, I'm kind of, I was kind of hoping the power steering pump would fix that, but it has not. So I don't know if there's air in the cooler, or if there's, I don't know. The box I put on it seemed to be okay, and I did take the adjustments I put in it and I backed them back to where they were, and it still does it. So it wasn't the adjustments that I did. I really don't know what the problem is, but when I'm driving down the road, it steers just fine. anything off of idle, really, and only when it's cold. So does anybody have an idea what it could be? So I'm headed to Napa this morning. I am taking this this core back. It's been almost a month. Hopefully they refund it. I'm sure they will. But just kind of an update after driving this thing a little bit. You know, I was kind of disappointed about I couldn't feel a difference with the steering up in the pressure and the volume at idle like I wanted it. I really wanted it to be able to turn easier at idle or a little off of idle for trail riding. And I really can't tell the difference, but I've not went on a trail ride yet either. So I'm not 100% sure that it's, well, I don't know if it's better or not, but just putting around the neighborhood with it is, it don't feel like it's any different at idle or just cruising, or, you know, just kind of idling along. But one thing that is very noticeable, so when I go to town to go to Napa, there's a little curvy road. Not very many curvy roads around here, but on that curvy road taking it to church, I could tell a huge difference in the steering with the higher pressure. At highway speed, it feels like a forklift or, you know, full hydraulic steering. It's so easy to turn, it's almost scary. You really have no feedback. And I did see somebody mention that whenever they were doing it, but I never thought about it. But yeah, the steering is so light now, you can't really tell. It's just kind of weird. So I'm gonna drop this power steering pump off. I think I'm gonna buy a new high pressure hose. Maybe the hose is collapsed or bad, and I don't know. I just feel like I've got a different box on it. Now I've got a new power steering pump, and the high pressure hose is about the only thing that I've not replaced. The low pressure steering hose I don't think matters, right? I don't know. But I'm gonna order that or pick that high pressure hose up. And when I get back, I'm gonna start a new project. It's gonna be a driveway install of something that, yeah. So stay tuned to the next video to see what that is. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good one. I appreciate it.